What's up, everybody? Cinephile Mike here, and today I am joined by filmmaker Malcolm Ingram to discuss Small Town Gay Bar, the groundbreaking documentary celebrating its 20th anniversary with a special screening at the Tribeca Festival. The film was executive produced by Kevin Smith and follows the owners, performers, and patrons of two gay bars in rural Mississippi, capturing the challenges, resilience, and sense of community they built in the face of prejudice and isolation. Over the past 2 decades, Small Town Gay Bar has become an important document of LGBTQ plus life and a part of America rarely represented on screen. Malcolm, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me today.
Oh, I'm happy. If other people are going to see this, I'm not wearing sunglasses because I'm trying to be Tim Dillon. I just dropped my glasses off to be repaired because I'm going to the Tribeca Film, and literally, this is not some kind of. I'm not doing it for effect. It's literally a necessity.
No worries. So I'm curious, as a Canadian filmmaker, thinking back, what first led you to Rumors and Crossroads, different seasons, and what made you realize that there was a larger story there beyond simply documenting the two establishments?
It was during the Toronto Film Festival, and I was waiting to go to a party every year they held at the City TV building at the time. And it was the Perspective Canada party, which is a big party that all the goofy Canadian filmmakers would go to. And it was like September, I believe, I actually got the number down. It was September 8th, 2001. It was like 3 days before 9/11. And I was sitting in a bathhouse, and I literally didn't go to have sex. Like I had recently just kind of come out. I came out in my 30s. And I literally just went there to hang out because it was downtown and I wanted to, I just wanted to be around gay people. So I was just sitting there in a towel reading an extra magazine, which is our local gay rag at the time. And I came across a story about a small town. It's not really it's a town called Sudbury. And it was talking about the fact that they just had a gay bashing at their bar. And I was just like, wait a minute, Sudbury has a gay, what? And it absolutely flummoxed me that Sudbury, which is a really, it was a town, it's like Stompin' Tom Connors wrote a song called Sudbury Saturday Night, where about the boys getting stanko and it basically, it's a fighting town. It's a rough town. They had a gay bar. And then that opened my mind to like, well, what other places? And at the time, there was this thing like back in the day, it was like this gaybars.net. And I literally just had a listing of all the gay bars and I just looked and I was just like, I found this kind of network of like these small bars that like this website had kind of was keeping track of. And that's basically that was the start.
And now, looking back 20 years later, as you've been revisiting it on this tour, what stands out to you now that perhaps you couldn't fully appreciate while you were making it?
I appreciated making that movie the whole time I made it. The one thing that really going back and watching it is how pressing it is to now. The movie could have been filmed yesterday. Like it's one of those things where the struggle has gotten worse. Like the thing about it is that like, the politic has changed. Like gay pride, like I'm really good at not engaging, especially having been friends with Kevin. Like, I'm always like, don't engage with the haters, just don't. And I'm really good at it. But all of a sudden, I got in this like when people started announcing gay pride, on June 1st, literally the avalanche of hate was astounding. Like I was baffled at the amount of people who were just talking this rhetoric that I hadn't heard in so while, and just plainly like, and some were bots, but some were real people. And I ended up like engaging, and it literally, it consumed me until finally, like I did it for 2 hours. I was in the rabbit hole, and then I was just like, "No, man, fuck all these people." Like, it's just like I'm not going to engage in this, and I walked away. But it really stunned me the amount of open hatred towards the gay community right now. It's baffling to me, and it's just kind of like 10 years ago we weren't here. 10 years ago, I stopped making queer social issue documentary because they weren't really needed anymore. Like, and that I was happy to hang up the mantle, and I went on to make a like documentary about Kevin Clark, Fan of Paradise. Like, I walked away from it because it wasn't necessary, and now within a small period of time, like it just completely where it went is terrifying.
And now with this coming back, so the documentary, it's so powerful and it's reached audiences now across multiple generations. I mean, it's like you said, it could have come out, it could have been filmed yesterday, not
Yeah.
20 years ago. So what has surprised you most when you have been meeting with people to see how it connects even now 20 years later?
Thing about Small Town Gay Bar, which is the most touching thing about it, that what Small Town Gay Bar is a movie that I made that like I was like I didn't make it. Like it was made like I don't take ownership of the movie. I made it with a bunch of my friends, and then we literally it was four people who went to the South. It was such a small like we were lean and mean. Essentially, the response in the initial one thing about Small Town Gay Bar that has always been incredible is that the amount of people who felt they needed to talk to me about it because either it changed their minds or saved their life. And to be part of something that actually had that kind of power is so humbling. Like it genuinely like to absorb the fact that something that I worked on, that I worked together with people to make, actually had an impact on people where it literally changed their minds, which is a really hard thing to do. And the thing about it is because the movie, it doesn't, people in Mississippi, they're not, it's not about pronouns, man. It's about like, just don't hang us, like, don't kill us. Right. You know what I mean? It's just it's such a simple message. It's just like, look, I don't care if somebody doesn't approve of the fact that it doesn't bother me at all. But don't try and take my rights or hit me for it. Like, just like, and people are kind of like, why do we need pride? Like, and it's like my first boyfriend was in the closet. We're both in the closet. And I live in the gay village. I've lived here for 26 years in Toronto. And I got to see through his eyes his first pride, his first time being around a group of people that were like him. That like they from the time you reach consciousness, basically as a gay person when you're young, you realize right then the world is different and it's not for you. Like it's not Jack and Jill. You know what I mean? Like I love Jill, I have respect for her, but I like Bill. Like and it's just kind of like that's the narrative going down that path. And all of a sudden, when you're like the power of being surrounded by people who think the same of you when you spend so much time on the outside, the how powerful that could be and how that could really, really, really it's a salve for damage that some people don't even know they have. So when people are like, why have pride? Why have pride? Like, it's essential basically because we spend so much time on the outside, like it sometimes feels good to be a little on the inside.
And I love that you said that, when you got to see your boyfriend experience his first pride and see people coming together. And that was one of the things that struck me when I was watching the film. It's how it's about, community and chosen family. And I can only imagine how many different people you met through the drag performers, the club owners, the employees, and the other people. I'm curious, are you still in touch with any of them? Do you
I
still?
am. I just went down to Mississippi last month to bring my nephew to see Bob Dylan in Jackson, Mississippi, and go to a jazz fest. And I also wanted to stop by and see Rick Gladish, who was the first guy I talked to in the documentary, who owned Rumors. And I also talked to one of the amazing queens out there, Jamie. And yeah, it like what I mean. Like it was. They talked to me about the impact, because they're the faces of it.
Right.
And it literally like they're happy to have it. And I'm happy. Yeah, look, the privilege, like the South is a very complicated place. And getting like I've filmed 2 documentaries down there, and getting the trust of a Southern person is not an easy thing to do. And probably one of the proudest things in my life is to actually get the trust of the gay community there.
So I love to ask this question when I speak with filmmakers, and you've been making films now for over over 20 years. What would you say is for you is a best practice that you like to take when you go from project to project? And what would you say is a learning curve that you try not to repeat?
Make sure you trust your producers. Make sure your team is bona fide. Um, that's it's on the level I do films. I've always done them really small because my second film, Taillights Fade, like I had a crew of like 200 people. It was ridiculous, and I hated it. I don't think it's hard to make real art by committee. Um, so I mean, it's just like try and keep it as lean as mean as possible. And so ultimately, you have to trust everybody. You really want it because you really have to depend on people. It really is something where you can't do everything yourself, and you need to rely on people. And collaboration is really important. Like we're not again, this movie is not my movie. It's several people's movie. Like I just like my title is director. That doesn't mean that my job is any more important than the editors or the cinematographer. Like we all have our jobs to do, and if everybody does their job right, then you have a better chance of making a good project. But you have to trust people.
And one last question before I have to let you go. What are you hoping that audiences who are attending the anniversary screening this weekend take away from the film when they walk out?
You know, I haven't seen this movie communally in 20 years. And one thing that I think that everybody has to look forward to is this movie seen with an audience is an incredibly it's a real roller coaster. It's a really incredible it's a real journey because there's I didn't watch the movie for 2 decades because it was kind of like it got involved with some argy bargy, and I actually had to fight to get the rights back. It actually wasn't that much of a fight. The people who got the rights back were very reasonable. But like when I watched it again, I was just like, I can't believe the movie moves like a freight train. It's a very like it moves very. There's a lot packed in there, and I'm kind of like I forgot that we got the head of the American Family Association in there. I'm like, we have Fred Phelps, and like there's a lot of things, but I think that anybody who sees this movie in a theater is in for a treat. And one thing to work out, I was going to do it. We were going to launch out of Tribeca, but then America decided to do that ICE thing and the war thing and all that. So it's not a really good time to do advocacy work as a kind of a Canadian. So after the midterms in November, we're planning a tour. That we're going to basically take it to communities, which I want to do in June, but November is just as good. I want to take it to communities and kind of have screenings and show it to people because small town gay bars don't exist that much anymore. But I would like to kind of like go to community centers and kind of give people a taste of the film and a taste of kind of that experience collectively.
Beautifully said. Well, Malcolm, thank you again so much for taking the time to speak with me today. Congratulations on
Thank you,
this
dude. Thank you for taking
20th
the time, man.
anniversary celebration of the film. For everyone watching, the film will be screening as part of Tribeca's Reunions and Retrospectives program on June 8th. We will include additional information in the descriptor notes, how you can buy tickets, how you can follow the film, how you can follow Malcolm. As always, if you enjoyed this conversation, please make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel here. You can find lots of more additional information on my website, cinephilemike.com, including my spoiler-free review of the documentary. And, as always, I remind you, take a break and watch something new. Malcolm, have a great day. Enjoy the
You too,
festival.
brother. Thank you so much.